Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about the most ruthless diss track responses ever made, but real quick, I do want to address the whole situation around XXXTentacion's passing. Now, I was going to talk about it at the start of the video. I have like a full clip recorded from a few hours after the incident happened, and I was going to place that at the start of the video, but then I realized it really kind of drags down the video at the start, it pulls down the mood of everything. So what I've decided to do instead is I'm going to put the section of me talking about X's death at the end of this video, at the very end of it. So we can have this, this full video first, and my thoughts will be on the end. Yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know that before we start the video. So yeah, I have made a video on the most brutal diss tracks ever made before. This is going to focus purely on tracks that are either responding to other tracks, or maybe like tweets or stuff like that. So with that being said, this is CDTVProductions. You can follow me on Twitter under that name, and let's look at the most ruthless diss track responses in rap history.
You mentioned wedding ring like it's a bad thing. Your father walked away at 5, hell of a dad thing. Marriage is something that Sandy never had, Drake.
Let's start with the most recent one, and the reason why I made this. Now this beef has a bit of history, but it really kicked off in 2018 when Pusha threw a few shots at Drake on Infrared. Drake fired back with a full diss track called Duppy Freestyle, then Pusha quickly responded with this song. I was expecting something hard-hitting from Pusha, but I didn't know we were gonna get something this brutal. There's a couple obvious things about Drake being rather light-skinned, although I'm sure that's changed after this intense grilling that Pusha gave him. But when Pusha talked about Drake hiding a child and being a deadbeat father, that's when this one got intense. Now let's keep in mind that the whole Drake's hidden baby with the porn star thing is unconfirmed right now, but at the moment it really doesn't look like it's untrue. The best thing about this track in my opinion though is how literally everything about it ties into dissing Drake, every single element of it. The cover for the song shows a genuine picture of Drake in blackface, which Pusha references in the lyrics. The instrumental for the song is The Story of OJ by Jay-Z, an instrumental which samples a song that talks about the struggles of 4 black women with different skin tones. Everything here has a purpose, right down to the smallest details. This is how diss tracks should be done if you really want to hit someone where it hurts, and Pusha's confident, almost cocky delivery just adds even more sting to the lyrics. The only thing that made me a bit uncomfortable were the lines about 40, Drake's main producer, having a disease which could very well be life-threatening to him. But I loved everything else on here. Apparently the beef is over now, but we can't really complain when we got a track like this out of it.
Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Yeah, you getting bodied by a singing nigga. I'm not the type of nigga that type of niggas.
Now let's take a look at one where Drake came out much better on the other side. This whole thing started when, on Twitter, Meek Mill accused Drake of spitting a ghost-written verse on the song Rico, a song which Drake featured on with Meek Mill. Drake released Charged Up in retaliation, a song which Meek would call Baby Lotion Soft. After Meek tweeted a few more things, Drake didn't wait before responding with the second response, this one being the track in question, back to back. Naturally, he shot down the claims that he doesn't write many of his songs, but the response doesn't get brutal until Drake says this.
Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know that you gotta be a thug for her. This ain't what she meant when she told you to open up more.
Referencing the fact that Meek was the opening act for Nicki Minaj's Pink Print tour, instead of being the headlining act himself. Everyone knows that rap is filled with men who like to be portrayed as tough, so when someone suggests that their woman is wearing the pants in a relationship, it's sure to sting a fair bit. He even says Nicki will inevitably break up with Meek, which did happen around a year and a half later. Drake continues to rap about how Meek is only really responding over Twitter, and overall just put out a pretty hard-hitting response with this. The aftermath of this was bad for Meek too. He was the man taking L's every single day before Russ took that role over from him, and that was all because of this diss from Drake. In a weird way though, Meek going to jail recently kind of made everyone forget about this and got everyone back on his side. That whole situation kind of made people put this to rest, and he's definitely making a lot more of a comeback now compared to how he was viewed in 2015.
Kiss not come out swinging. It's like going to see 50 at a show and he don't come out singing. Yeah, you got a felony, but you ain't a predicate. Never the king of New York, you live in Connecticut.
This whole thing would start in 2015. Oh, fuck. This whole thing would start when 50 Cent released the song Piggy Bank, which took shots at Jadakiss.
Jada don't fuck with me if you wanna eat, cause I do your little ass like Jay did Mobb Deep. Yeah, homie, in New York, niggas like your vocals, but that's only New York, dog, your ass is local.
This is apparently because 50 was mad that Jada was helping out Ja Rule, an artist who 50 had a well-documented beef with. Obviously, Jadakiss wasn't just gonna sit back and take these lines, so he released a bombshell of a diss track titled Checkmate shortly after. This was a very solid diss track, but the heftiest blows came when Kiss repeatedly brought up 50 being shot 9 times. And he says here that he doesn't think 50 would even be famous without that event occurring. Not only that, but he questions 50's manhood here. I mean, when we hear that he got shot 9 times and survived, I'm pretty sure we all think that's pretty insane and admirable, right? I mean, he survived getting shot 9 times. Well, not Jada. He states on here that he thinks 50 shouldn't be getting praise for getting shot at when he didn't shoot back. On top of all this, Kiss says if he sends a hitman after 50, he won't be so lucky this time. It's a very gritty and raw diss track that brings a lot of reality into it, and I think that Jada showed here that he shouldn't be messed with. I mean, this is how he responded to being dissed in a couple of lines. Safe to say they had more of a back and forth after this, but Checkmate is the track that stood out to me the most out of this whole thing.
Talking about bringing knives to a fight with guns when the only shots you ever took was in your buns, and I saw Meek at All-Star, he told me your ass dropped.
And finally, we'll close things off with a beef from some female rap artists. Now this whole thing would start gaining notoriety when Nicki Minaj had a few choice words for Remy on the song Make Love.
You the queen of this here. One platinum plaque album flop, bitch, where? You see, silly rabbit, to be the queen of rap, you gotta sell records, you gotta get plaques.
As I'm sure you already know by the subject of the video and the track we're talking about, Remy clapped back. And she did so pretty viciously, remixing the song Ether by Nas, which is not a song that you want to spit weak bars over. And she did not disappoint. She starts off slowly, poking fun at Nicki's supposedly fake ass, then picks it up a bit more by bringing Nicki's failed relationships into the mix, and then builds it all the way up to a crescendo when Remy talks about Nicki Minaj's brother facing child rape charges. Despite these charges, Nicki still supported her brother and reportedly paid $30,000 for his wedding. And guess what? These lines are even more impactful and ruthless now, as Jelani Mirage, Nicki's brother, has been found guilty of sexually assaulting his 11-year-old stepdaughter. Remy Ma brought that into the beef, and it probably stings even more now with the knowledge that Nicki did in fact pay $30,000 for a child rapist's wedding. Obviously, it's unlikely she believed the charges against her brother, but the facts still stand. That is pretty brutal. Well guys, that is going to be it for the video today. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you did, and like I said, right now I'm going to put my thoughts and kind of just, you know, pay respects to Jose Onfroy, also known as XXXTentacion, with this next video clip, which was recorded the same day that he passed away. So that's why I sound quite shaken up in the video, because I do sound a little bit shaken up by it. You know, I'd seen the video of him being found in his car, and that didn't really help things. So yeah, here's my thoughts, and like I said, in that I explained why I didn't want to make a full video dedicated to the subject. So we're gonna close the video out with that. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and this is CDTVProductions signing out. Hey guys, I don't really know how I'm gonna segue into this part of the video because as you can tell probably by the start, this part of the video was recorded at a completely different time. This is recorded before I've even scripted that video. But anyway, I just thought it was right at the start of this video to acknowledge that Giselle Onfroy, also known as XXX Tentacion, was killed today at the age of 20 years old. And I just thought, you know, I thought it was only respectful to, you know, acknowledge this in some way, but I didn't want to make a full video, and I'm not going to make a full video dedicated to talking about the passing of X, because for me it doesn't matter even if it's not monetized. I don't feel comfortable doing it. You're still getting, you know, views and subscribers off that video because X's name is being searched on YouTube right now. Hypothetically, if I made a video talking about his death, you know, people would be searching for his name, my video would come up, and I would not feel right about people watching that video and potentially subscribing off of me talking about someone who has died. You know, other people can do what they want about it, but I personally don't feel comfortable making a video dedicated to talking about his death that people will find, regardless of whether it's monetized or not. Now, it's no secret that I wasn't the biggest fan of X's music. I think that's been pretty well documented throughout my channel, that I'm not a huge fan. But regardless of what you think about his music, him as a person, the accusations against him, nobody deserves to die like that. He did not deserve to fucking get shot at 20 years old in what is presumed to be a robbery. Apparently they took a Louis Vuitton bag, so if all this was over a fucking Louis Vuitton bag, that is horrible. It honestly is a really, you know, depressing and disturbing situation. I don't even know how much of this I'm gonna put in the video at the start of it, because I really don't like talking about serious stuff on my channel. I don't like being serious on my channel. I guess there's only a couple things left to say. I want to say to the people that are saying that he deserved to die like this, if you're saying that he deserved to die in this way, then fuck off. Get off my channel. Don't watch any of my videos. Don't comment on them, because I don't want you here. The next thing I want to say, and people with bigger audiences like DJ Academics have touched on this, so I'm pretty sure the message on this one is already out there. But just in case a few of you guys, you know, aren't aware of this, you know, please don't share the video of his the video that circulated of his lifeless body in his car, because it's quite a disturbing video. It's pretty distressing. That was actually the first thing I saw about it. I didn't even see a tweet about X's death. Someone just kind of, you know, tagged me in the video. I watched the video, and I definitely say that made the situation all the more shocking. He was definitely trying to portray himself in a more positive light recently. One of the hardest things to see was that the last Instagram story he posted was about him organizing a charity event, you know, and I hope his friends, his family, the people who are actually really affected by this are well equipped to deal with it. And, you know, it's very easy to just kind of ramble on about this. I don't know what else to say. You know, it feels like there's not enough you can say. But like I said, I don't want this to take too much time at the start of the video, and I don't want to make a video dedicated to it. I just don't feel that's right. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Rest in peace to Giselle Onfroy. I hope I'm saying that right. Also known as XXX Tentacion. I hope I'm saying that right too. And yeah, that's all.